Oh.
I think Lenny's
Well,
on.
hello there.
Hey, Len. All right,
I
bud.
hear crackling. Do you hear that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I don't hear anything.
Oh, it's horrible.
I think it may be because it's recording.
No, that usually doesn't do anything.
Oh, it's
Well, it only started when you turned the recorder on.
when you came on.
It
and
turns
it
on
said start
automatically
recording.
when the Zoom starts.
Oh, it's really bad.
I'll
I don't know what that is.
How about trying to log out completely and then come back in using the email?
Okay, I'll do it. Bye.
Bye.
You want me to do the same thing?
You sound great to me. I mean, I see you and I hear you.
Yeah.
You're not hearing me?
No, I hear you fine. Hi, Vita.
Okay. Hello there.
Vita and Tori
Oh,
are here.
it's
Patrick's
still
here, too.
there.
You
Vita,
guys
are
hear
you
that?
hearing
Hi,
some
Patrick.
background noise? You're muted.
I'm hearing a lot of back noise.
It almost sounds like static.
Still?
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's crunching celery or something.
It's interesting because I don't hear any of that.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Well, anybody have any ideas here?
Yeah, everybody should mute and then say,
Yeah, that's a good. Thank you. Good idea. How about if everybody mutes and we'll come on? Let me see. Do you still hear it? Well, you guys are muted. I'm talking. Do you still hear that static? Heather said, "Yeah." All right, I'm going to mute me then.
yeah, that was you.
It was you.
It was you, Len.
I can take a hint. Still,
Nope.
No.
Nope. Now it's good.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yup. Can
This is
hear
the
you
weirdest
perfect.
thing. A couple months ago, my computer microphone stopped working, and I bought a standalone mic, and I've been using that ever since. Suddenly, I think my computer works, and this thing's going bad. Well, anyway, hello everyone.
Hi, Lenny.
I know my dad was having some problems with his computer. I'm going to try to call him on the other line and remind him to click on. I'm going to call my brother's phone. So if you see me leave, that's where I'm going.
All right, good. I was just going to give him a call too. I was just talking to him. John and I talked yesterday. He's going to, he's looking for somebody to take over this thing and for us to talk about the idea, should we meet once a year, semi-annually, what makes sense, and who wants to be the sucker or the leader of a future meeting. Michael, who's not here today, is capable and has a pro Zoom thing, so he can hold extended length meetings. And also, someone last month, the other thing John said we want to talk about, last time we met, people were saying, let's talk about the future. So my thought was, when we start any of these get-togethers, we ought to say who hasn't ever been to one of these jamborees before, and they're going to want to talk about 40 to 50 years ago. Let's listen. But for the rest of us, it would be nice to talk about, so what have we done since, and what are we doing going forward? That was the whole agenda. What do you think?
All right. So are we gonna wait? Yeah, that sounds good. Are we gonna wait for John now, right now?
Well, what are we waiting for?
For John, is he coming in on the meeting or?
He's supposed to.
Okay.
Heather's calling him now.
Is it just us?
Right now,
Looks that way so far.
so far, it's just 7:02.
And I'd be glad to start because I gotta leave, I gotta cut this a little early. I gotta leave in about 15 or 20 minutes, but I missed the last one and I just definitely didn't want to miss like two in a row, so.
All right, but you've been
Anyway.
here, you've been to these before?
Yeah, I've been to the ones in person as well,
When did you go to
so I,
school?
yeah, 1981, I graduated. I went for 1 year, so. I didn't live in Brentwood. I lived out of district and I traveled there. I came from
really?
yeah, like 45 minutes. I was in Port Jefferson. So my uncle my uncle who's a psychologist found out about the school and knew Bob Primavera for a little bit. So I went and visited and I came into the district and attended for a year. Yeah. So it was an amazing experience. And I've been in touch with John. We've talked now and then and again. So anyhow, I didn't know like these were going on for the longest time. I'm a special ed teacher at BOCES. I'm actually getting ready to retire soon, about 3
Oh, you're
years.
still on the island?
Yeah, I'm in Miller Place. Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, so
Good
I've been
news
a
on the
special,
retirement.
yeah, I've been in special ed for about 25 years now. So, and it's been an amazing run for me. And so, my experience at Maslow definitely put me on the right track for all that. I had good family support and I have a lot of psychologists and social workers in my family. So, but Maslow was like the icing on the cake for me, and it sent me off into my kind of like what I'm doing now, really. I don't even really think about retiring. It's just getting to be about that time. I completely love what I do. I just finished my 6-week summer school program, so it was probably the best summer. This past year, besides what was going on with COVID. I mean, my school, my building, my administration, it gets better and better each year. I get closer to retiring. So I just, not even sure that I'd want to do that, but my wife just
Hey.
retired. So, hey,
Hey, that's
Conrad.
great news.
So, yeah. So it's been an amazing run. And this has been really cool to, reconnect with different people here. So I know this was going on for a while, but I found out about 5 years ago. So I went to the last in-person meeting, and then I've done a few of the Zooms as well since COVID came about. So
Hey, guys,
talk to
That
John
is-
and Conrad are on.
so
Conrad, I can't believe I'm seeing you, Conrad. Lenny Marsh here. How are you? It's wonderful to see you.
Well, I'm delighted to be seen. And hello,
Yeah.
John. I'm no
Hi,
chicken
Lenny.
anymore.
Hey, John, glad we're seeing you.
Am I
Dennis told
being
you-
heard?
Yes,
We see you.
Do you hear
and
me?
we hear you.
We hear you.
Yes,
I'm here.
Okay.
John,
Yes,
you called me this morning,
yes.
and my confusion was my brother, John,
Ah,
What's happening?
hesitated when you called. The name was difficult to unscramble because I had two Johns to deal with, but everything worked out nicely.
very good. I'm glad to hear it.
Well, just before you two guys came on, Patrick was telling us what's been going on with him. And he's getting ready to retire from the school district.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So anyway, take it
Wonderful.
away, John. I was just talking about our
Yeah.
little agenda that we discussed.
Yeah, I started out, John and Conrad, all you guys, because I got about 15 more minutes. I had a prior commitment, but I definitely, wanted to touch base with you guys, say hello. And I missed the last, Zoom we had, and I just didn't want to miss two in a row. This is, it's such a gift and such an honor to do these things. And I just, I want to make the time no matter what. I have somewhere I got to be, but, I want to do this for a little bit as long as I can. So I got about 15 more minutes, but, I was just telling Lenny and a few other people just, about, where I'm at and what's going on and
Where
how,
are you?
so,
Where are you?
so 26 years into special education, I was just telling Lenny that, um, it just gets better and better for me each year. I'm not one of these guys that's ready to run out the door, who can't wait to retire. I don't want to, actually.
Mhm.
My wife retired out of education. She was a first grade teacher for like 35 years. So we want to go and do stuff together. You know what I mean? That's probably the only reason why. I just finished my 26th year and my 15th summer. I did a 6-week summer school program. And I probably had the best, summer ever this year. It gets better as it goes. It goes on. So, and I was telling them that, my all my years in special education, I have a Maslow. I have a lot to thank for my direction of where I went and what I'm doing right now. I had a good foundation in my family. And then that was like icing on the cake going to Maslow. It's been, I work with a lot of student teachers that are coming out now, and they have a lot of good book knowledge on how to be a teacher, how to run lessons, how to modify and adapt things in special ed. But I teach them about social emotional learning, which is a big thing right now. And all of my baseline is what I learned at Maslow and what we practiced in my classroom. It always has been for 26 years. So that you can't really teach. Somebody has to, has to have the heart for that kind of thing. I role model it. So some people get it and some don't, and that's okay. My baseline for my classroom is to, always provide an environment or an atmosphere of trust, love, uh, those kinds of principles that we always worked on, being congruent, being myself, and taking risks, things like all the principles we've talked about over the years, with the Maslow experience, I would say. So, and that's been my success, really. That baseline of, like, social emotional learning is in right now, and it's getting some headway. And thank God, in some of the areas, these things are a little bit more accepted now than they were when I first started. I always use them, based on like Maslow's
Hierarchy.
yeah, and Rogers' work of creating growth promoting climates, So yeah, that's been my go-to stuff, and it's been an amazing run, and I'm still gonna stay involved, Um,
That's terrific.
Wonderful to hear you say that, Patrick.
yeah, yeah, I owe a lot to each and every one of you, John, you especially too. Amazing man, amazing teacher. So,
I second
you
that.
guys retired when I first started. So like around that, I started a little bit before you retired. So now, now I'm getting ready to, but we'll see what I'll do next or whatever, if I can, stay involved in any way, shape or form. Me and my wife will, so.
So Patrick, what's your thought on that question I put out before Conrad and John got back of how often is a good time to meet? Once a year, twice a year? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm good with anything. I would do like, yeah, at least twice, maybe even 4 times a year if that's possible. But definitely twice would be good.
Right.
Just to touch base and we're shrinking here, but it's okay. I mean, it was for many
Right.
years I didn't know this was going on. So like, and then I actually, it just came. I had a staff member working in my classroom like 5 summers ago who lived in Brentwood, and said her friend went to Maslow like in late 70s. And then she said, yeah, she still stays in, and then it just prompted me, man, let me go do an internet search, And then I came across that amazing website that Judy had built with John, and all that stuff that's been preserved and archived. Amazing website of, the Maslow experience from start to finish, I'm really glad that's done. It will go on forever then, you know? So,
Yeah, that is great. So,
Yeah.
hey, Conrad, are you still living on Long Island?
Oh, no, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
I left Brentwood in 82 and thought I might need to continue to find a job, a little income here in Yarm. So I went back to the military school in Pennsylvania.
Huh.
And fortunately, they put me in guidance rather than attending to a cadet unit. And I was ever so grateful for that. I did 7 more years. I put myself up to pasture in 89
Great.
and moved into this retirement community in 06. I say I lost my Betty in 2018, which was just a little difficult to get used to. I knew that woman for 70 years.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And when you have a 67-year marriage and a 2.5-year period of courting, because I chased her vigorously until she finally gave up and married this old devil. But I'm happily sequestered, not alone. I'm a lousy bachelor, but I am in a retirement community outside of Philadelphia, a place called Audubon, interestingly enough.
Hmm.
And so I keep busy. I am a part of the community wood shop. I play pool every Thursday night, and we stand second out of 15 teams now.
Go get them.
Wow.
The old eyes are still working reasonably well,
That's good.
and but age is catching up with me, as you might imagine, and but I'm upright and taking nourishment, and
That's the
I
key.
read every night before I go to bed. I must read something. And I'm not sure that's an offshoot of Maslow, but it's just one of those things that's
That's who you
built
are.
in. It's built in that I must read. Some people take a glass of wine. I don't. I read. That's my wine at that hour. Yeah.
Great.
And I'm pleased to see so many tonight, John. The system seems to be working.
You
Are you
know,
there?
I am glad that we're doing this, especially tonight. And the reason I say that is because I have been extremely anxious because you saw my late arrival tonight is as a consequence of my being here early and going on to, I guess, a site that I created, a link. I didn't know that I created the wrong link. And were it not for my daughter, who is not here, who was in North Carolina, and my son, who was visiting tonight, thank God, I didn't know either one of them know as much about Zoom as they do because they came in and rescued me and they got me onto the site and you guys were already here. I am just delighted. And also, as Patrick, you were talking, I want to tell you that you're reminding me of so many of the conversations that Steve Springer and I, Steve, who was here with us tonight, but we've had so many conversations about the very thing that you were talking about the foundation and about how
Right.
we've been and how it has continued to keep us, I would say, ever going back to that wellspring of information and experience that we have
Yeah.
all tapped into and
Yeah.
grateful for the opportunity. And I say grateful as an educator, as much as you as high school students describe it. I can tell you it was as important and as groundbreaking for me as an educator as it was for you as students. So I am supremely grateful for the experience and for knowing all of you and still having you in my life. I can't believe Vita
Right.
is still here.
Yeah.
And Lenny, I thank you for doing this tonight, for getting us off the ground and making this a reality. Lenny and I were talking about the possibility of somebody stepping in and helping host this or moderate it, or not even, that's the wrong word, just to shotgun, sort of ride along with us to keep it alive and keep it going, but not to the point where we're pushing people to do something that they don't want to do. Because there may come a point when we all say enough is enough. We've had enough of this. And I don't, should that come, God forbid, I would be more than willing to accept it if that's the overall opinion. I don't want to be one, as Milt would be turning in his resting place if he thought that we were ever pushing people to do things that they don't want to do. That's the antithesis of anything that we ever dreamed of. So I'm just glad we're here tonight. I'm glad we have, out of the 40 people or so who were given notification of tonight. Here comes Joanne Riola, seeing Joanne, welcome. I don't know if you can hear me yet, but it just seeing all of you makes my heart feel a little bit warmer. That's all. I'm grateful to all of you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you added a year, John?
I added a year just on the 11th,
Right.
my 84th.
Yeah.
Just, hey, John, just a kid.
Yeah, you have the right to say that.
Yeah,
John.
I guess I
Hi,
do.
Joanne.
I,
John,
Well,
Heather was in North Carolina. Where is she?
I don't have her address with me, but I can let you know what that is. I can't,
What town?
she's not too far from Charlotte.
mhm.
Okay. I'm 3 hours from Charlotte, so
You're 3 hours, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I went to visit Miss Vida.
You
Yeah,
good.
I did. It was so lovely. It was amazing. I just had such a nice time.
Ah, nice.
Fed me a nice little dinner and sent me packing on my way with all kinds of snacks.
Oh, good. How far did you have to go to visit Vida?
Well, I flew into Charlotte. I
Ah,
visited a couple friends in Charlotte, and then I went up to Mount Holly, and she was like, an hour from Mount Holly, and yeah, I did a couple of rounds, and I had this urge to go over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, so I made a trip out of it, rented a car, visited a bunch of people up on the way home, did the bridge, and it was an amazing, enlightening
Yeah.
experience.
that's neat.
I was high on happiness. It was incredible just seeing everybody. And so I had this friend in Mount Holly. She lived in Belmore for years. She just moved to North Carolina a month or two ago. Never visited her when she was here in Belmore, but I visited her in North Carolina.
where in North Carolina?
She's in Mount Holly. I was in Charlotte. I was in Mount Holly. I was in Durham.
I'm right
I
near
was in Rocky.
Charlotte. I'm right near Charlotte right now. I'm actually packing up my property. So I have my tenant moving in, but I've been here for about 2 months. And I'm like 15 minutes from Charlotte.
And north, south, east, or west?
I am below Charlotte, I think. No,
What's the name
Charlotte
of
is,
the
yeah,
town?
Charlotte is south from me.
South of you. Okay, so you're north.
Thank you for your help, Heather. You and John were great tonight. You just-
Okay, so you got it. I'm excited. I'm
We
glad you
him.
got
He's
it.
there, we see him.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Thank
Thank
good-
goodness.
thank
Mamma
goodness.
mia.
Yeah.
So Heather, I'll have to put you on my list for my next road trip.
Well, I'm coming back. I'm actually I'm actually packing up now. So I have a tenant for a year, so I won't be back here for a while.
Oh, okay.
But I figured, you know what, I'm still not working. So being that I had a place to stay when my tenant moved out, I figured I'd come squat in my own home. So
Nice.
I've been squatting for the past 2 months. And so they're gonna move in tomorrow. So I'm just trying to pack everything up and get out of here. Staying at a friend's house tonight. So I'm sorry, but I haven't even brushed my teeth yet today. Nobody wants to see me, that's for sure.
Oh,
But
That's
it's nice
why-
listening to everybody.
That's why you're not on the video, I guess. That's a choice on your part.
Yes, I'm a disaster area.
Okay, all right.
it's a responsible choice.
Yeah, nobody wants
Yeah.
to,
Yeah,
nobody wants to see this.
yeah. That's good, yeah.
Conrad, I was talking with John yesterday, and we were talking about how, how nice it would be to catch up and see where people have gone since the Maslow Toffler days. But of course, I had to tell John about a time when, I'm sure you remember, on Fridays, we used to have the forum. And very often, we'd end it with, I would tell a joke. And I always thought I was pretty damn funny. And I would tell a joke, but there was one time in particular, I told a joke, got a good laugh, and afterwards we walked out and you just very fatherly put your arm around me and you said, you got a good laugh, but did you really have to use that kind of language? And
Oops.
it stuck with me, and I always tried to see if I could deliver it with better words.
Well,
That was always fun at those forums.
yeah, well, it was the times, and
Yeah,
each thing had its place.
right. Yeah.
I
Go ahead, Connor, say.
in our community, we have high school youngsters serving in the dining room. And I cannot help but greet them, each one, and I will say to them, what's the plan? That's what I say. What's the plan? And these youngsters surprise me most often by having decided on a career, having decided on what school to go to when they finish their high school experience. And it's a joy to be still in the business, let's call that's a terrible word, but
For sure.
to be involved with young people, it's when you're in a community of ancients, there are 1,200 people in this community, and if you say, there goes the lady, oh, that's the one with the white hair, how many hundreds of ladies are there with the white hair? But I have great fun dealing with these youngsters, and it makes the whole experience of being in the community with older people acceptable and rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. And those young people are lucky to have you too there.
Amen.
Mhm.
Well,
It works both ways. Yeah.
sometimes they get yelled at for some silly thing.
Right.
One other thing, and then I'll get off. I always greet these youngsters and say, how are you? And they tell me oftentimes, good. They are good. And I know they're good. And every once in a while, after my perhaps annoying counsel, they will say to me, very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. And I recognize that somewhere along the line, I have left something with them that will hold them in good stead instead of good, respond to the question.
Yes.
I'm very well, thank you. And when that happens and they respond in that fashion, I'm just so tickled that I've left some kind of an expression, even if it's a bit annoying at times. Hello, Vita.
Hello, how are you?
I wanted to take note of your presence.
Well, thank you very
Peter,
much.
before you talk, let me just jump in and say, because as John talked about the technical limitation, my technical limitations, this meeting is going to end in about 9 minutes. And if we can wrap up in 9 minutes, that's great. If we want to try to reconvene, could be a nightmare, but we could try that. But just so you know, on this clock, about 9 minutes.
Yeah, the next time you Zoom, I have from my school, I have unlimited, so we wouldn't be constrained by a
Well,
time.
it would be great, Patrick, if you
Yeah.
stepped up, give John a yell and tell him that we
Yep.
could do that. That would be super.
Yeah, so whatever, I gotta go, but so whatever is decided, it's good. I'll be supportive in any way I can. You know, like do a co-host thing. You
Great.
know, Steve's very involved, I know, so maybe
All
he
right,
wants
so,
to step up too, so,
And definitely contact John. Just give him a
Yeah.
yell and be well. It's
Okay.
good seeing you.
be well, guys.
Take
Yeah,
care.
That's
Patrick.
it.
Hi, Patrick.
Okay,
Thank
yeah,
you. for
bye-bye,
being here.
see ya.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
we'll
any-
talk, yeah, we'll talk soon, John.
We
Yeah,
will. Yes,
I'll
we
call
will.
you.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
I'm sorry, I
If
gotta
it's-
go, I gotta go now, so. but-
That's all
All
right.
right.
You gotta
wanted
go,
to-
you gotta
yeah.
go.
Yeah, but I just wanted to see everybody's be well and many
Thank you.
blessings for good health,
Thank you.
everybody.
You too, Patrick.
So
Stay
Vita,
safe
what's
and
going
enjoy
on?
retirement. So if it's gonna go off, everybody can just log back on again, that's all.
I think I'm good. I had a long day. I was out there in that heat at a yard sale today. I was doing a yard sale and I'm just beat. But I said, I want to check in, say hello to everybody.
Oh, I'm so glad that you did.
Well, let's
Yeah.
check in with Vita
How
and
are
with
you?
Steve.
How are you feeling?
Overall, I gotta say, knock on wood, I'm good. Less
Thank
than highly
God.
favored and, you know, it's all going well. I got a good report in July, so I'm happy.
Excellent.
Good.
That's what I say. Thank you, thank you. Because the last 2 July tests weren't so nice, so it was a really good thing, and I'm very grateful. So
Good.
whatever I'm
Thank
doing is
Great
working.
news. I'm disappointed that we don't see Camille. She assured me she was coming, but she may have had technical difficulties too. I don't know what her reason for not being present tonight is, because I know how much she values being with us and wanted to be with us. I hope she pops in before we all go. That's all. But now, listen, we're doing the best we can.
Right, so let's hear what's up with Vita and Steve. We got about 5 minutes to go here.
Okay.
Go to Steve first. There's
Oh,
nothing
thanks,
new.
Vita. Things for me are fine, thank you. Just going through some crazy stuff, family and work. But like I said to John the other night, the one thing that we learned from Maslow was be able to adapt and deal with it, and especially change. A lot of
But
people
your
can't.
health, your health is okay, yes?
Yes. Thank God. I'm still in much remission now. It'll be 2 years in December. Actually, I'm sorry. It'll be 3 years in December.
God
So,
bless. Nothing else matters then, Steve.
no, and that's the truth.
All the rest can
Absolutely.
be worked out.
Yep, absolutely agree. I think what was talked about earlier from Patrick is making a decision what we're going to do going forward, whether or not we're going to do this once, twice. I would agree with him. I like the idea of 4 times a year, maybe once a quarter. I think if we go once a year, I think it's going to be too long and people are just going to disappear altogether. And even
Right.
though the group is small, I think if we keep it to like every quarter, I think that's that, I would vote for that. So that's all I'm saying.
Are you
Steve,
ever
how
in-
about-
Oh, I like that one.
Well, Patrick said we could use his Zoom, so John, he's a good guy to latch on to. And I know,
Yep.
Mike also said he's good.
Yes, Mike Bloom, yes.
Right.
You know what? When you're talking about 4 meetings a year, it strikes me as the 4 seasons might work.
Yeah,
I like
Right.
that idea.
One
Well,
week-
Lenny and I live in Florida. We don't have seasons.
right. Hot or very hot.
We'll lend you our 4 seasons, that's all.
Right.
It was 100 here today
Yes.
without the heat index
Oh, my
and
goodness.
yesterday.
No, Florida was actually, we've been under 90. It's just raining a lot. So
Yeah,
Vita, what's
we're-
up? We're gonna get kicked off in about 3.5 minutes.
Okay, so if I had a bucket list, Tori has fulfilled the bucket list. We have been to the ocean, we have been to the mountains, we have been to the zoo, because I've never seen the North Carolina Zoo. We have been in between, all in the month of July.
Wow.
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 So today was her move-in day at school, and now I get a rest. So,
I'm glad she's keeping you busy.
indeed.
Vita, you
Keeping
look
you
wonderful.
young.
You look wonderful and you
That's
sound good.
bad.
Well, thank you.
She looks, when I saw her in person, I was like, you look exactly like you did 40 years ago. How
Yeah,
did you
she
do
doesn't
it?
look like she changed at all.
That's funny, Joanne.
Yeah, but it's true. It was like, she hasn't changed a bit.
Well, I retired 3 years ago this month, technically. And this past week, I worked for the first time, actually, probably since I was in high school, working at Jack in the Box for an hourly rate. I volunteered at the Board of Elections to be a trainer of future poll workers. But they said, you can't volunteer, we'll pay you. And I think I was paid like 12 cents an hour, an enormous amount of work. But I'll be training poll dancers going forward until Election Day. So they
Are
said
they going to let everybody vote in your state?
well, last year in 2020, Florida was ranked #1 in the US for how smooth the election went. We did have the hanging chad 20 years ago, but apparently it's much better.
Well,
Okay.
as they say to the military guys, thank you for your service. If we
Right.
ever needed election systems that are working and an involved electorate, it's now like never before. So
Oh, we've got a good system, just Florida keeps voting the wrong way. I don't know. That's a different story.
yes.
Yes, and we don't have enough time.
No.
Sure.
Hey, so this is gonna end, but I just want to say this is great. I'll talk to John too and see what we can talk about, like with the schedule and getting on the emails. And if anyone knows, John asked me the other day, if anyone knows anyone on the email and has an updated email address, let's respond to that email that John sent out to everybody and update everybody that way. Wonderful to see everybody.
Either get it to Judy because she posted it on the website,
Okay,
or get it to somebody here that we can pool all that information and keep it current. A lot of people have changed their
sure.
their email addresses. And it's tough to keep in touch with people when you lose track of them.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
I'll touch base
next
with
one
you. We
I'll
gotta get
instant
together
message
for lunch
people.
again.
Yeah. What was that? What did you
After
say?
our
next-
last
the
meeting,
next
Steve and I
meeting,
got
I'll
together for lunch.
At a time.
Okay.
Well, I bid everyone good
Have a
evening.
happy rest of your weekend.
Happy.
Be well, everybody.
Good
Okay.
seeing all.
Happy summer, everybody.
Bye.
And Dad, happy birthday again.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
Yeah, happy 84th.
We'll celebrate when I get back.
Bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's indeed-
And
that's
Conrad,
indeed.
I'm so glad I got to see you. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.
Bye, Lane.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Peace.
Peace.